A college in Kalispell makes it easier for students to find housing. And new efforts are underway in the Flathead to educate people about the dangers of concussions. Plus, it's so busy in Yellowstone, some people were turned away from seeing Old Faithful.
Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on KAJ, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, I'm Ariana Lake. Tonight, the Flathead Valley Community College is celebrating a new tool to ensure student success. This afternoon marked the grand opening for the college's first student housing complex. The Board of Trustees named the new Student Housing Founders Hall in honor of the visionary men and women who started the college 50 years ago. Today, students, parents, faculty, and community members had their first chance to tour the new facility. It'll provide housing for about 140 students. College President Jane Karras says the new housing is a vital part of a successful college career for some students.
It is really an opportunity for students who would like to attend college, but financial sometimes needs are a challenge. The ability to have affordable student housing close to or on campus really makes a difference in their ability to be successful.
That new housing facility will officially open to students on Friday. And as we head into the overnight hours, you may be noticing more clouds moving into our area. Chief Meteorologist Aaron Yost has more details. Aaron.
Yeah, we have an approaching cold front, Ariana, that's ushering in this southwesterly flow, and it is going to continue to increase our moisture as we head into the overnight hours and throughout the first half of the day for sure as we move into tomorrow. Right now, again, like you'd mentioned, clouds on the increase, but we even have some precipitation trying to sneak there into Lincoln County. Overnight tonight, that'll pick up in intensity just a bit. It's not going to be a widespread washout, but hey, we're finally talking moisture in the forecast. Will be a quick moving cold front. We are going to see cooler temperatures tomorrow and Friday before things heat back up this weekend and early next week with yet another ridge of high pressure. More details on the way.
Thanks, Aaron. Montana medical professionals are helping people understand more about the long-term dangers that concussions have on young people. As MTN's Jack Ginsburg reports, a Kalispell conference today provided crucial information regarding this very common brain injury.
Speech and occupational therapists, family nurse practitioners, and athletic trainers explained how they fit into the care of treating concussions and how they can help educators and families properly re-enter their kid in school and athletics. One of the main points of the conference was to fully treat a concussion properly while the brain is still young, so further complications don't occur when they are older, like we are seeing with CTE in football players.
I know that you're really wanting to get back into sports, you're really wanting to get back into school, you don't want to halt your life right now, but it's really important to treat it well right now so that we can prevent some of those chronic issues that manifest similar to Alzheimer's down the road.
This past May, Montana passed legislation saying that all parents, students, coaches, and referees for any organized youth sporting event or activity has to undergo some sort of concussion training on a yearly basis. Save the Brain has set up their own 12-minute video, followed by a 10-question quiz on their website that gives you clearance to play.
Access that video, watch it, take the quiz, and you'll print a certificate that you can then take with you to the different sporting events that your kids are involved in, so you're not having to do the same training over and over for each sport.
Next year, Save the Brain hopes to extend past the Flathead Valley.
Our goal is really to get the word out there about how to treat and prevent concussions effectively so that everybody has the right tools that they need. And so whether that stays here in the valley, whether it extends to all of northwest Montana or further than that, we're happy to help however we can.
Reporting in Kalispell, Jack Ginsburg, MTN News.
This was the Save the Brain's first ever concussion conference at KRMC. Moving into our fire watch tonight, great news from the more than 3,500-acre fire burning east of Eureka. Containment tonight hits 52%. The Gibraltar Ridge fire is now being managed by a Type 3 team. This new team will continue mop-up work and monitor the fire activity. Some residents remain in pre-evacuation and pre-evacuation warning status tonight. We have those specifics listed on our website. This fire was sparked by lightning on August 7th. And the Sprague fire burning in Glacier National Park continues growing thanks to slight winds and dry conditions the past couple days. Officials are reporting the fire perimeter grew about 140 acres yesterday and gained even more ground today, putting the total acreage burned at 1,364 acres. A Type 3 incident management team is overseeing this fire. If you have questions about it, you can call the number on your screen between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Fire managers are pushing through a windy night that could test the fire lines on the 33,000-acre Lolo Peak fire. The National Weather Service issued a red flag warning beginning near Lolo. That started at 5 tonight, potentially bringing strong erratic winds tonight. Firefighters will patrol along 93 and 12 highway corridors, control lines, and in communities to protect structures there. Highway 12 west of Lolo has been fully open to traffic near the fire with a reduced speed limit of 45 miles per hour. And we'll continue to track all the details and critical information you need with our Fire Watch coverage on air, online, and on our Facebook and Twitter feeds, and of course our mobile app. Now, the state's budget for fighting fires is on fumes, but Governor Steve Bullock says the first priority is to make people safe and then deal with the money issues after fire season. He made that statement yesterday as he visited the Lolo Peak fire. It's the most dangerous, but certainly not the only fire on federal and state land right now. And while the Montana Fire Fund is nearly gone, Bullock says the state is committed to doing whatever it takes to quell the fires and then sort out additional funding after fire season draws to a close.
My significant concern is firefighter safety and getting these fires out. I mean, we'll deal with the dollar amount long after, and I will not allow decisions to be made when it comes to protecting communities or protecting firefighters based on the amount of money spent.
This week, the federal government came through with a grant to help cover local expenses tied to the Lolo Peak fire, and Bullock says he stands ready to make further disaster declarations as needed to access additional funding. Folks in the Flathead have really missed the worst of the wildfire smoke and bad air quality compared to residents further to the south. In particular, Seeley Lake and the Bitterroot Valley have seen some of the worst air quality in years, but is it the worst on record? Meteorologist Russ Thomas reports from the Missoula City County Health Department with an answer.
How does smoke produced from local fires this season stack up with other smoky summers in Missoula County? In short, it's record-breaking.
The smoke in Seeley Lake right now is the worst we have ever seen in Missoula County. I've compared the numbers to what we're seeing in Seeley Lake this year compared to what we saw in Missoula in 2000, and it's not even close.
Air quality in Seeley Lake has been deemed hazardous 18 of the last 23 mornings. The Air Quality Index, which measures the amount of pollutants in the air, is deemed hazardous at a particulate concentration of 300. Seeley is routinely hitting 800 to 900. This has led to an increase in respiratory problems and a potential increase in cardiac emergencies.
You can't live in smoke that is as thick as they've had in the mornings all month and expect to escape unscathed.
And it is not just Seeley Lake that is suffering. Thanks to a burnout effort in the Bitterroot Valley Wednesday morning, one community briefly hit a level worse than any seen so far in the county this season.
They actually had the worst air we have seen in Missoula County was from Florence this morning. It was worse than anything we'd even seen in Seeley Lake.
September usually brings a decrease in fire activity, but the long-range forecast shows little hope for relief anytime soon. Even when activity does start to wane, there is little hope for immediate improvement.
These fires are in our backyard, so even when their fire activity starts to decrease, there will still be smoke produced from the smoldering and the creeping and whatever is left in that fire, and the communities that are right near those fires are going to keep getting smoke until those fires are actually out.
In Missoula, Russ Thomas, MTN News.
Tonight, air quality is moderate for the Flathead, Thompson Falls, and the Libby area. Another state news tonight, traffic was so congested in Yellowstone National Park yesterday that park managers had to shut down access to Old Faithful and West Thumb for a time. About 4 p.m. yesterday, the park said traffic on the Grand Loop Road was not allowed to enter Old Faithful and cars were actually turned away. MTN's Caitlin Corbett has more details from the park.
I'm here at Old Faithful Geyser, which has Yellowstone National Park's busiest visitor center. Now, yesterday it was so busy that park rangers were forced to shut down the inbound lanes due to congested traffic. Those lanes were shut down for about half an hour, also in the area of West Thumb, and they are running again today. July is the busiest month for both Yellowstone National Park and Old Faithful. But on August 22nd, visitors to Old Faithful were the highest of the summer. And Supervisory Park Ranger Rebecca Rowland said it may have had something to do with the eclipse.
Yesterday, we saw nearly 12,500 visits to our visitor center, the Old Faithful Visitor Education Center. And that's slightly higher than most of our busy July days. So 2 of the 4 busiest days this summer have surrounded the eclipse.
The high volume of visitors also limited parking spaces at Old Faithful, another reason lanes were shut down.
The parking lots were full, but they're always full on a busy July day. I think what was most noticeable to me was that it was like July instead of August.
Cars were turned around for just that short period of time, but visitors to the park were warned of congestion until around 11 p.m. Traffic through the park is running normally as of today. Reporting from Yellowstone National Park, Caitlin Corbett, MTN News.
It's been a crowded season in Glacier National Park too. GNP saw a record of nearly 621,000 visitors in June. That's up 28% over last year at the same time. Coming up next, Aaron shows us who could see some storms throughout the overnight hours, and dramatic video shows the sheer force of an avalanche in Switzerland. Plus, President Donald Trump signs a bill making it easier for veterans to appeal decisions on their disability claims. Details still to come on KAJ.